Activision and Bungie are splitting after 8 years of partnership, with the Destiny franchise being transferred to developer Bungie, which will assume full publishing rights. As detailed on Bungie.net, the studio explains that they are ready to start self-publishing, while Activision will increase their focus on owned products. The planned transition process is already underway in its early stages. We have enjoyed a successful 8-year run, and would like to thank Activision for their partnership on Destiny. The post continues. Looking ahead, we are excited to announce plans for Activision to transfer publishing rights for Destiny to Bungie. With our remarkable Destiny community, we are ready to publish on our own. The studio also addressed player feedback on Civadf and Destiny 2, Forsaken, which did not perform as well as anticipated and contributed to a decline in total revenue for Activision Blizzard last financial quarter. With Forsaken, we have learned, and listened, and leaned into what we believe our players want from a great Destiny experience. The post says, "Rest assured, there is more of that on the way. We will continue to deliver on the existing Destiny roadmap, and we are looking forward to releasing more seasonal experiences in the coming months, as well as surprising our community with some exciting announcements about what lies beyond." In a joint statement, Activision and Bungie said, "Going forward, Bungie will own and develop the franchise, and Activision will increase its focus on owned and other projects. Activision and Bungie are committed to a seamless transition for the Destiny franchise and will continue to work closely together during the transition on behalf of the communities of Destiny players around the world." It's safe to assume that the split means Destiny 2 will no longer be available on Activision Blizzard's Battle.net launcher, since publishing rights are being transferred to Bungie. Video Game Geek's weekly newsletter from video game industry watcher Simon Carless, GDC Gamasutra co-runner, rounding up the best long-read standout articles videos about games every weekend. This week's highlights include a multitude of best-of lists of the top games of the year, from the individual through group roundups to individual highlights, and there's also pieces on the current, the Outer Worlds Atlas, and the classic NES History, the quarter century of digital extremes, among others. Happy holidays to you and yours, by the way. Hope you are having a wonderful one with a little time off to click on links about video games. Until next time, Simon, curator. 5 trends that defined the game industry in 2018. Kris Graft Gamasutra article. The year 2018 lasted approximately 13 years. From studio closures to the Fortnite phenomenon. Here are the trends that defined the game industry in the longest year in the history of humankind. Simon, just note, also Cifaldi events that rocked the game industry in 2018. Staying with power, 35 years of NES History Museum Tour. Kelsey Lewin tour video, helping plan and curate the museum at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, was one of my favorite things I have done this year. This video is the guided tour that we never quite got to give, with lots of history and extra information. I'd also included a bit about our planning process and challenges we faced at the end, if that sort of thing interests you. Simon, as note, masterminded by the Video Game History Foundation's Frank Cifaldi Kelsey, and many others besides. This was an amazing pop-up museum exhibit. The creators of the Outer Worlds are learning to make better RPGs. Wes Fenlon, PC Gamer article. I recently visited Obsidian Entertainment to see the studio's new RPG The Outer Worlds, which I called a blend of Firefly and Fallout. You can read a lot more about the Outer Worlds in my feature. But I also talked to Tim and Leonard about their careers making RPGs, and how that experience and working at Obsidian is affecting this new game. Here's what they had to say. The brilliance of video game maps. Various Eurogamer article. How long? Earlier this year, Thames and Hudson published a beautiful book on literary maps. It's collected writer's map, an atlas of imaginary lands. A few of us ordered the book to arrive on day one, and as we read through it, our thoughts inevitably turned to video games and their own relationships with maps. Below you will find some of the things we ended up thinking about. Atlas is a pirate mode, where players run Theseus, Metcalf's RockPaperShotgun article. There's a pirate mode on the horizon, and its CFARAS look ambitious. I spoke to project director, lead programmer, Jeremy Stieglitz, and creative director Jesse Rapczak over Skype. We chatted about sailing to stave off boredom on voyages, player politicking, ship combat as a team sports game, and a plan to save every player before they died of old age. Heavily Pixelated, S01, E07 Shale, Heavily Pixelated podcast, hosted by veteran writer and TV host Scott C. Jones. Heavily Pixelated examines the moments when gamers are at their most vulnerable, and the ways video games helped them endure those difficult moments. Half Freudian-style therapy session, half celebration of a particular video game. When his parents separate, Shane uses of indigenous game to reunite his newly fractured family. X is poised to dominate the next console generation. Jessica, Conde Gadget article. Well, this is certainly a surprise. X has been the bundling underdog of the 8th console generation, playing catch-up to Sony's PlayStation 4, and watching from a distance, as the Nintendo Switch reignited the passion of video game fans worldwide. However, over the past 5 years, Microsoft has doggedly climbed its way out of a peer and reputation pit, with items like the X1X and the adaptive controller, as well as its public support of cross-console play. From epic pinball to Warframe, 25 years of digital extremes. Tom's in a PC Gamer article. Today Digital Extremes is known for its big free-to-play hit shooter, Warframe. But the studio has been around since PC gaming's early days. Founder James Schmalz started out learning coding tidbits from magazines before working alongside epic luminaries, Tim Sweeney and Mark Rain. That story is one of a studio that has fought hard for the opportunity to create its own properties in an industry that's often tough on mid-sized independent developers trying to break out. The 15 best video games of 2018, and released The Verge article. It's hard to top a year like 2017, but this year was also surprisingly strong, offering up an incredibly varied mix of interactive experiences. There are the blockbusters, of course, like the freewheeling Spider-Man and the meticulously detailed Red Dead Redemption 2. But 2018 was also a fantastic year for smaller games. Market correction in esports. Ben Fisher Sports Business Journal article. Esports insiders are increasingly convinced that many team organizations are overvalued and a market correction is coming. In the 2 years since traditional sports teams started acquiring esports organizations, faith in the long-term potential of video games has grown stronger, but pessimism about the short and medium-term prospects of esports teams is also growing, as spending pressures grow faster than revenue. Gamasutras Best of 2018. Bryant Francis, Top 10 Games. Bryant Francis Gamasutra article. Amidst all the challenges, A lot of great developers put out some seriously great games this year, and we are getting a lot of chances at Gamasutra to celebrate them this week. Today, here's some of the games that your humble contributing editor video producer has truly enjoyed in 2018. Simon, as note, also says some really well-considered lists from my other colleagues, including from Kris, from Alissa McAloon, from Alex Worrell, from Emma Kitwell, and from Chris Graft, Frank Lance, director of NES Game Center, and creator of Universal Paperclips, E-Combinator podcast. Frank Lance is a game designer and director of the New Game Center. He co-founded Daring Occult Games and most recently released a game, called Universal Paperclips, which you are online that makes paperclips. The 50 best games of 2018. Polygon Step Polygon article. A list of the best games of the year is more useful, more thoughtful and more complete